One of the most beautiful buildings in New York, of course, is the Saarinen building, the CBS building. Tell me about your role in this building, how this came about, and why the CBS building is so unique.
It's unique because it is a magnificently conceived and designed building. From Frank Stanton's office and from Paley's office, one could feel the vibes and the signals that indicated that we want first-class work done around this company. I mean, the absolute best. There is no contradiction between profitable commerce and high standards. It's simple as that.
Tell me about some of the other things in the building that
that mural, for example.
Yes, the mural.
I recall
5120 Club.
Very vividly standing in that empty space, which is our cafeteria, with Frank Stanton and Florence Knoll. She did the interiors of this building, and she's a very superb interior designer. And I pointed to this big white empty wall and caught Stanton's attention and said, Frank, I think that wall needs some treatment. I would love to do something with that wall. And he said, well, what would you do with it? And Florence jumped in and said, gee, that's a good idea. Why don't we put some old maps of New York on the wall? And I wasn't pleased with that idea, and I said so. And I think what was shot back at me was something like, okay, wise guy, what would you do? Just give me 30 seconds, I'll think of something. I had made for Stanton a birthday gift. It's something called a California job case that's known in the typographic world when typography was lead, metal. It's a job case that looks, it's a box, it's a drawer, you know, it's California job. It's a drawer full of little cubbies and looks very Mondrianish. You know, so if Mondrian had drawn broken up a space of that dimension, he might have done it that way. And all the little bits of type were in each cubby. There are more A's in the alphabet, in words, or in E's than there are X's and Z's. So the X and Z boxes are small and the A's are big. And so it makes it kind of lovely, as I say, Mondrianish pattern. I had filled one of those with wood type, old wood types and metal types of various sizes, and presented it to Frank Stanton for his birthday. And it had the box I had prepared of typefaces were full of 5121 memorabilia, everything to do with the building. And that was buried somewhere in my subconscious. And when Frank said, what would you do? Well, what if you're not going to do maps, what are you going to do? And I said, give me 30 seconds. Well, in less than 30 seconds, I remember coming back saying, remember that box I did for you? All those type things. I could see that wall as one big white wall full of white cut-out letters in different typefaces. And, I think I'd like to put food objects in the wall. I mean, just like that. I had a picture of it. And he said, Frank, who was terribly perceptive, he said, it's a wonderful idea, and why don't you make me a sketch? I guess you wanted to show it to Paley. And I said, oh, what a sketch. You know, 250 different typefaces.
It'll take you 2 days
so
to draw.
It took an awful lot. It took more than 2 days to do a very rough sketch. And I showed it to him, and he came back and said, go right ahead with it. And what was magnificent is he never said, I never heard him ask these questions. He never said how much. Well, they knew I was the stingiest guy in the building, so they never asked how much. But it's unusual for a client not to say how much. And he didn't say how much. Anyhow, but I priced that for someone else who wanted a wall like that. And I said I wouldn't do it because I had done it. And it priced out at $350,000. But then that's true of everything, isn't it? You know what we did here in this building then without knowing it? We were creating an entirely new industry for other people. Under Stanton and Paley, we did what was right. That was what was wonderful about it. We did what had to be done because it was right.